Welcome to Wednesday, July 21st, 2021. Welcome to the Day Weather Podcast. Thanks for listening and watching today. It's all about high pressure, heat, and thunderstorms. This is going to be a recurring theme here for the next many days in a row, really the next couple of weeks. High pressure is going to be over the region, and it's not going to leave. It's just overhead. It usually is this time of year. Underneath that high pressure, though, we have surges of this monsoonal moisture, which will continue to come in waves, alternating moisture waves with drier pockets in between. The monsoonal moisture flow is not continuous. You're going to have breaks in it, and we'll kind of highlight that for you. We are going to continue to be concerned about flash flooding. Yesterday, we had mentioned that we were concerned about this with flash flooding, especially over the fire burn scar areas of Wyoming and Colorado, and unfortunately, that's indeed what happened last night along the Cache-la-Poudre River west of Fort Collins along Highway 14 with a flash flood last night. And we've got to watch out for this as heavy rain-producing thunderstorms developed over southern Wyoming's mountains and northern Colorado's mountains yesterday. And not daily, but pretty much on an off-and-on basis. Flash flooding concerns will be a real problem. Historically, when you look at the bigger flash floods that happen in this region, and this is especially true in Wyoming and Colorado, they tend to happen in July and August for good reason. Slow-moving, heavy rain-producing, monsoonal-driven thunderstorms. So we're kind of getting into the beginnings and heading towards the peak of the flash flooding season around here, and over the burn areas, this will continue to be a concern. Also, going to have something a little bit fun to talk about. A lot of folks always talk about Cheyenne Frontier Days and why does it always seem to rain during Cheyenne Frontier Days, or just insert your local county fair. Local county fairs in late July and early August. It always seems like Frontier Days and a county fair will bring rain to this region. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. Here's the latest satellite photo showing you that moisture plume. Now yesterday the moisture plume was, the axis of it was about right here. And we did see some really good rain and thunderstorm activity up here. Not everywhere, but there were some good rains up there last night. Then we had some heavy rain producing thunderstorms here. And of course around the Four Corners area down here, heavy rain producing showers and thunderstorms again. So the axis of the deeper monsoonal plume has shifted a bit more east. So along and east of this axis and west of this axis is where we're expecting the heaviest rain and thunderstorm activity to be again today. So if you're going to be in this area here, you got to watch out for heavy rain producing thunderstorms, this area here as well. If you were to take a look at the radar estimates from last night's heavy thunderstorm. So for point of reference, here's Cheyenne and here's Fort Collins. This is where the radar estimates how much rain fell. Notice along and near west of Laramie here, radar estimates southwest of Laramie, there could have been over, see the yellow areas here? There could have been over 2 inches of rain. The Laramie Airport picked up just under 1.25 inches. Then look at the heavy rains that fell in the Snowy Range Mountains, real gully washers and causing some concerns over the burn scar areas there. But this is where we had the problem. Here's Highway 14. On the way from Fort Collins, it takes you up to Walden, and you can see right here a concentration of rains that where you can't see it on the scale here, but it was basically between 1 to 2 inches of rain, and it fell in less than an hour. In fact, it probably fell in less than 45 minutes, and that was over a burn scar area from the Cannon Peak fire from last fall. So you get mudslides, you get debris flows, and this is always a concern after big wildfires. So with this same area under the monsoon moisture flow again today, this will be the second day in a row we need to keep an eye on things. Keep your distance from creeks, rivers, and streams. If you're in the foothills or mountains, do not throw your tent down next to a creek, river, or stream. Never do that in July or August around here. That's for sure when we get into that monsoon season. High pressure is going to continue to be where it's been, basically near the Four Corners area. The high pressure ridge is weakening a little bit, and that's going to maybe allow temperatures to not be as hot. Now, it's going to be hot. There's no denying it. But we're not going to be shattering record heat, but we will still be very warm. But high pressure is basically going to reside overhead. But as we go forward, notice this is for Sunday. This is today. This is by Sunday. Notice a more west-east flow up here from the Pacific Northwest through Montana and the Dakotas. So that's going to allow temperatures to moderate up here a little bit and not be as hot. So the weekend may actually just be a touch, and I mean barely cooler, but a little cooler as the high pressure gets flattened out. But by the end of next week, this is for July 31st, a week from this coming Saturday, the high migrates into the central plains. So this will build back the heat, but it will also open the door to that monsoonal moisture flow. And let's take a look at it. Now, we talked earlier at the podcast beginning how the monsoon moisture comes in surges. So what we've got, this axis of heavier moisture right here coming on through, this is for this afternoon and evening. Notice we've got dry air over the Pacific Northwest and Northern California. Some of this dry air does come in like this as we get to the end of the week and the beginnings of the weekend. So this is for this afternoon. This is for Friday. So today, Friday, notice an expansion of that dry air in the Pacific Northwest back into western and northern Wyoming, Montana back into here. So what this will do is temporarily shut off the monsoon moisture flow up here. But see this axis of monsoon moisture right here? So as we get on into Friday, there'll be thunderstorms along this green and blue area here. In the white areas, you're still going to have showers and thunderstorms and not as many in the brown areas. As we look forward to Cheyenne Frontier Days getting started this Friday, I want to show you something interesting. We did this study a while ago, but we took 30 years of rainfall data for Cheyenne for the month of July, and we plotted the average amount of rain over a 30-day period for each day of the month. And what is interesting, and this should be no surprise, but if you want to see over 30 years, when you average the data together, notice that the trend line of average daily precipitation in Cheyenne steadily goes up from the 1st of July to about the 15th. But notice we start to see a more pronounced increase after the 20th of July, right up through the 31st of July. So here is that increase right here, which, yep, lines up very well with the late July, early August normal monsoon season. As we know, some years are good, some years are bad. Last year was a bad year. This year's monsoon is performing better. But if you really want to get down to brass tacks here, and if you were to look at the statistical odds of when the wettest day is during Cheyenne Frontier Days, it's really interesting. A lot of Cheyenne folks will recognize this. Cheyenne Day, that Wednesday of Frontier Days, there's a little spike in that chance of rain being a little bit higher during the middle of Cheyenne Frontier Days. This year is going to be a typical Cheyenne Frontier Days where afternoon and evening thunderstorms are going to be around. Not every day. Not every day will it rain during Frontier Days, but the chances of afternoon and evening thunderstorms are going to be good, better than they were over the last couple of years. A quick La Nina update and a teaser. Later this week, I'm going to be posting a video on the Day Weather YouTube channel about the La Nina, the status, and where it's going. I wanted to show you this to let you know what we're watching and what we'll show you in that video update. Notice pockets of blue and a little bit of green showing up right here along the equator. La Nina, while not officially in place right now, the folks who track La Nina and El Niños have actually reissued a La Nina watch for later this summer and fall, as we're starting to see it maybe make a little bit of a comeback right here. And we'll post that information and update you on the latest La Nina forecast with that video later this week. Have yourself a great Wednesday, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.